Hey guys, today I want to express a profound compassion and empathy for you. Not just for you, for everyone. And not the usual empathy and compassion, something I think that gets overlooked to an incredible degree, given how obvious it is. We are a wildly anxious and delusional species, we humans. We are burdened by language, and as a result, we're burdened by ideas, and ideas can be really scary. Concepts, imaginations, nightmares. It's really an anxious thing to be a human being. Unlike other organisms, way harder. A dog could feel traumatized, a dog could whimper, a dog could be anxious, but a dog can't go into the kind of self-loathing that a human can go into. Can't foresee future, can't worry if they have a fatal flaw. It's an emotional thing for them. For us, it's emotions compounded, amplified by ideas that swim around us everywhere, including the ideas of other people. We are an incredibly anxious species, all of us. And though we're all swimming in that turbulent water, it's easy to understand why we don't acknowledge it, but at the same time, it's really worth acknowledging. So it goes without saying, but bears repeating. And we're all the more anxious because with language, with concepts, we are able to compensate for our anxiety with all sorts of delusions of grandeur. Every one of us needs a degree of that. To some extent or another, we all need reassurance. We all need confidence boosts. We all need mojo pit stops, ways to reassure ourselves, sources of comfort and reassurance, ways to regenerate our confidence. And we can do that in really delusional ways. So I'm suggesting that we should be really careful for each other and really careful of each other. We have plenty of ways to make each other anxious in our bids for self-reassurance. So for me, the question is, what should we do about that? Now, as I look at history, I see all of these bids to transcend that need for reassurance, to drop the ego, to align with the one, to humble ourselves before reality. And all of them fail. They all have failed. Every move towards claiming that egotism is a bad thing and we should transcend it fail miserably. They become the next way to become an arrogant, self-reassuring, delusional fool. We're seeing that in spades with Trump. But we've seen it in spades over and over throughout history. This sense that ego should be beneath us only becomes the next way to become egotistical. To say, I'm a champion of selflessness, therefore I should be the judge of who's selfless and I'm selfless, and anybody who disagrees with me is selfish or greedy or something. I don't think that bid for a kind of stability in human civilization is working. I think what we need to do is get better at managing and exercising our need for reassurance. And for that, we have to get honest about our need for it, everyone's need for it. You don't probably have half an idea how much reassurance you are relying on right now. None of us do. And why? Because we need to not feel needy. We don't like to think of ourselves as needing reassurance. A guy at a men's party could say, yeah, I need a partner because I need sex much more easily than they could say, I need a partner because I need reassurance. It's a black market, this whole market for affirmation. And I'm saying it shouldn't be. We should stop saying ego is beneath me and put our egos on the table where we can keep an eye on it and others can as well. First of all, be honest about your need. for reassurance. Second, be careful where you get it. There are safe and unsafe places to get your reassurance. Getting it by pretending that you really are exceptional and going out into the world and acting that way will give you confidence, but it's a really dangerous way to do it. I think it's safer to exercise it offline. I call it insercise or off-jerking. That is, there's something about the need to feel exceptional that I say is a human essential need. Because we have language, because we have these anxieties, we need to feel exceptional. We need to exercise our delusions of grandeur. But we need to know that they are fiction. They're not real. We are not exceptional. There's nothing more unexceptional about us than our need to feel exceptional. For us humans, given how anxious life is with language, escapism is inescapable. So be conscious of it and figure out where to get it. Now, there are some interesting ways to get it that are worth considering. They're one-directional, but you take them in as if they're two-directional. Talking to God, for example. I don't bet there is a God. I think it's time we got realistic about that, because if we keep on deferring to God, we're not paying attention to reality. But I think it's perfectly fine to talk to God, to pray to God, to have conversations with God, for the same reason I think it's good and healthy to talk to your cat, to your dog. Even though they don't understand, they are perfectly wonderful sources of reassurance. And it's probably useful to remember that they're not listening. I would also say the same thing about being an influencer. Here I am putting out stuff into the world. I've been doing this for decades now. And I've done it when there hasn't been really any audience, and still I felt the reassurance of self-expression. So there is something to be said for that. Gods, dogs, blogs. Regardless of whether anyone's listening, whether they're attending to us. And by the way, in this world, the thing in shortest supply is demand. We're all engaged in this kind of self-affirming self-expression. So it's great if you can relax out of the need for an audience. That's part of my practice, is to let the audience come and go as I do this stuff. And then on top of that, there's another aspect which I'd recommend, which is to see how you can trim it back to a minimum, your need for reassurance. Do it as efficiently as possible, and here's why. To me, all hope is self-hope. All romance is self-romance. Hope is a wish for what I want to see happen in the world. Romance is the dream of happily ever after by my standards. The more time I spend in those activities, and I do. I watch movies where I think that I would be like the hero. I masturbate. I make blog articles. I do all sorts of things that are my versions of exercise. Some people go to church. I play music and pretend that I'm good. Pretend that I'm great. That kind of aspirational fantasizing. But to be able to minimize it frees you up to pay attention to reality. If you have to take in a lot of that self-soothing and sugar, you become hypersensitive. It's easy to fall into it, and you end up losing touch with reality. That's what I'm saying is happening with the Trumpists. So to the extent you can, be aware of your need for reassurance. Be selective about how you do it, including that you don't need the reassurance to come from real human beings. There will become a time very soon when you'll get your reassurance from AI. And I think that's actually okay, to have attractive AI bots encouraging you. The same way that I think it's okay to do that with God or with dogs or with my blog articles that people didn't want to read for the longest time and only a few do now. I think that's fine. And then to trim it back and figure out how to spend as much time in reality as possible. And I would say the final element of it is this. Don't let it go to your head. Zip up after. It is like masturbation, and I think we need it. We need that self-reassurance. We need it. It's a human necessity. We call it entertainment and we think of it as kind of an elective or an optional thing. I don't think it is. Given how anxious we are as a species, we fucking need it. We need our mojo restoring, reaffirming pit stops. But zip up after. It's not a question of how far out you go, it's whether you remember to come back. Take your flights of fancy, but always with a return ticket to reality secure in your heart pocket. Compassion for us all. We are a wildly anxious species. There's never been another species like us. No wonder we're freaked out. We can foresee our own deaths. We can remember the horrible things that have happened to us and that we've done. We can foresee doing them again. We are a terrified, traumatized species. And as a result of the same thing that traumatizes us, we are perfectly capable of reassuring ourselves delusionally and need to, but safely. That's my point. Be careful of people. Be wary of people. And do your part to manage and exercise your need for reassurance safely.